Hello everyone, welcome to Daily English Pro, your place to improve English every single day. Stay focused, listen carefully, and try to repeat after what you hear. Let's get started.
And another. Listen. In my language, we have a word for this that does not translate exactly. The closest I can get in English is shadow it. And another. Listen. I know there is a better word for this, but right now I am going to use and choose the nearest word you know. Shadow it. Now let's practice a full approximation sequence. Imagine you want to describe the feeling of arriving home after a long trip and feeling completely at ease and familiar with the space. You do not know the exact English word for that specific feeling, so you approximate. Listen and shadow. I am trying to describe a feeling that I do not have the exact English word for. It is the feeling you get when you walk into your home after being away for a long time. Everything is exactly as you left it. The smells are familiar. The light is right, and your body just settles, like it remembers where it belongs. Do you know what I mean? Shadow it. I am trying to describe a feeling I do not have the exact word for. The feeling when you walk into your home after being away. Everything is exactly as you left it. The smells are familiar. And your body just settles, like it remembers where it belongs. Do you know what I mean? That approximation is beautiful. It is precise, it is evocative, and it is far more interesting than a single word would have been. Vocabulary gaps are not failures. They are invitations to be creative with language. And creativity with language is a sign of genuine fluency. What happens after a difficult conversation? This is another critical piece of the puzzle, because for shy English learners, the aftermath of a challenging speaking situation can sometimes be harder than the conversation itself. After a difficult or anxious English exchange, the inner critic often goes into overdrive, replaying every imperfect sentence, every moment of hesitation, every word that came out wrong. And this post-conversation inner critic voice can be so relentless and so discouraging that shy learners begin to dread not just the conversations themselves, but the aftermath that follows. So let's practice post-conversation self-compassion in English, the language of processing a difficult speaking experience kindly and fairly. Shadow these post-conversation sentences with me. Listen. That conversation was hard for me. I am going to acknowledge that without judgment. Hard things are worth acknowledging. Shadow it. That conversation was hard for me. I am going to acknowledge that without judgment. Hard things are worth acknowledging. Now another. Listen. There were moments in that conversation where I did not express myself as clearly as I wanted to. I noticed that and I let it go. I cannot go back and change it. And it was not as significant as it felt in the moment. Shadow it. There were moments where I did not express myself as clearly as I wanted to. I noticed that and let it go. I cannot change it, and it was not as significant as it felt. Now another. Listen. There was also at least one moment in that conversation where my English worked, where I said something and it landed exactly as I intended. I am going to focus on that moment. I am going to learn from it, and I am going to remember it next time. Shadow it. There was at least one moment where my English worked, where I said something and it landed exactly as I intended. I am going to focus on that, learn from it, and remember it next time. And one final post-conversation sentence. Listen. I had that conversation. It was imperfect, and the world did not end. Nobody thinks less of me for having imperfect English, and I am proud of myself for showing up. Shadow it. I had that conversation. It was imperfect, and the world did not end. Nobody thinks less of me for imperfect English, and I am proud of myself for showing up. These post-conversation sentences do something critically important. They interrupt the rumination cycle before it gains momentum. Because the energy you spend criticizing a conversation that is already over is energy that could be building your confidence for the next one. Moving on, let's discuss finding your people. Because one of the most powerful things a shy English learner can do is find the environments and the people where their English flourishes most naturally. Not every English environment is equally welcoming for shy people. Some conversations are fast and competitive and reward the loudest voice. Those environments will feel crushing to a shy learner, regardless of their English level. But other conversations are slower and more thoughtful and reward depth and listening and genuine engagement. And in those environments, shy learners often thrive extraordinarily. So part of building your English confidence is not just practicing harder in difficult environments. It is also choosing more wisely which environments to prioritize. Shadow these environment-choosing sentences with me. Listen. I know that I speak English better in one-on-one conversations than in groups, so I am going to build my confidence there first. Shadow it. I know I speak English better one-on-one than in groups, so I am going to build my confidence there first. Now another. Listen. I speak English better with people who are patient and genuinely curious than with people who seem impatient or distracted. So I am going to seek out patient and curious people to practice with. Shadow it. I speak English better with patient, curious people than with impatient, distracted ones. So I am going to seek out patient, curious people to practice with. And another. Listen. I notice that I speak English better when the topic genuinely interests me. So when I have a choice, I am going to steer conversations towards topics I care about. Shadow it. I speak English better when the topic genuinely interests me. So when I have a choice, I am going to steer conversations towards topics I care about. These sentences are not avoidance strategies. They are intelligent environment design. The shy learner who knows their own patterns and designs their practice environment around those patterns builds confidence far faster than the shy learner who forces themselves into the most uncomfortable situations they can find and then wonders why the confidence is not growing. We are now going to practice speaking English about shyness itself. Because one of the most liberating things a shy English learner can do is talk about their shyness openly and honestly in English. Not as an apology or an excuse, but as a simple and honest self-description. And the moment you can describe your own shyness clearly and without shame in English, you have taken much of its power away. Shadow these self-description sentences with me. Listen. I am quite a shy person by nature. I tend to observe and listen before I contribute to a conversation. Shadow it. Now another. Listen. I sometimes need a little more time than others to find the right words. I appreciate conversations that have space for that. Shadow it. And another. Listen. I feel more comfortable in one-on-one conversations than in large groups. That is just how I am wired, and I have made peace with it. Shadow it. And one more. Listen. I have been working on my English confidence for a while now. I am better than I used to be, and I am still improving. I find that being honest about the journey makes the journey easier. Shadow it. I have been working on my English confidence for a while. I am better than I used to be and still improving. Being honest about the journey makes the journey easier. These self-descriptions are disarming in the most positive sense. When you name your shyness honestly and without embarrassment, you remove the awkwardness that shy people often sense around themselves. You make it easy for others to be patient with you, and you model the kind of self-aware and grounded honesty that people find genuinely refreshing. Let's address a very specific form of English anxiety that affects shy learners in a particular way: digital and telephone English. Because in the modern world, a huge amount of English communication happens through screens and speakers, video calls, voice messages, phone calls to services, online meetings, and written messages that need to sound confident and natural. And for shy learners, these digital formats can sometimes feel even more anxiety-producing than face-to-face conversation. A phone call is terrifying because you cannot see the person, and you cannot use body language or facial expressions to help bridge any gaps in understanding. A video call is terrifying because you can see yourself on screen, and the self-observation amplifies every moment of hesitation. And written messages in English carry their own anxiety because they feel permanent and examinable in a way that spoken conversation does not. So let's practice each of these digital formats directly. First, let's practice starting a phone call confidently. Shadow these phone call openers with me. Listen. Hello, this is, and say your name. I am calling about, and state your reason clearly. Shadow it. Now another. Listen. Good morning. I wonder if you could help me. I am trying to find out. Shadow it. And one more. Listen. Hi. I hope I have reached the right department. I have a question about. Shadow it. Now let's practice the most common moment of phone call anxiety, when you do not understand what the other person said. Shadow these phone comprehension phrases. Listen. I am sorry. Could you repeat that, please? I did not quite catch it. Shadow it. Could you speak a little more slowly, please? I want to make sure I understand correctly. Shadow it. I think I understood most of that. Could you just confirm the and ask about the specific part you missed? Shadow it. Now, let's practice ending a phone call smoothly. Listen. Thank you so much for your help. That is everything I needed. Have a good day. Goodbye. Shadow it. I really appreciate your time. I think I have everything I need now. Thank you and goodbye. Shadow it. These phone call sentences are clean, calm, and completely appropriate for any service call in any English-speaking country. Now, let's practice one specific video call situation. The moment when there is a technical problem and you need to address it. Listen and shadow. I am so sorry. I think there might be a connection issue on my end. Can you hear me clearly? Shadow it. I lost you for a moment there. Could you repeat the last thing you said? Shadow it. I apologize for the background noise. Let me just and describe what you are doing to fix it. Shadow it. These technical recovery phrases are remarkably useful because every video call eventually has a technical moment. And having those phrases ready means you handle the interruptions smoothly and professionally, rather than panicking in silence. Next, we will focus on written English confidence. Because many shy learners spend enormous amounts of time rewording and second-guessing their written English messages. They write something, delete it, rewrite it, read it back 10 times, and still feel uncertain before sending. So let's shadow some confident message sending principles and the phrases that go with them. Shadow these written English confident sentences. Listen. I am going to send this message without rewriting it a 5th time. It communicates what I need to communicate, and that is enough. Shadow it. I do not need my written English to be perfect. I need it to be clear and kind. It is both of those things. Shadow it. If there is a small error in this message, the person receiving it will understand what I mean and will not think less of me. Shadow it. Now, let's practice some natural written English phrases that shy learners often struggle to write confidently. Shadow these message-starting phrases. Listen. I hope this message finds you well. Shadow it. I am writing to ask about. Shadow it. I wanted to reach out because. Shadow it. I hope you do not mind me messaging. Shadow it. I have been meaning to write for a while, and I am finally doing it. Shadow it. Now, some message closing phrases. Shadow these. Listen. Please let me know if you need any more information from me. Shadow it. I look forward to hearing from you. Shadow it. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Shadow it. I appreciate your patience with my English. It is still a work in progress. Shadow it. That last phrase is worth pausing on. I appreciate your patience with my English. It is still a work in progress. That sentence is both honest and charming. It disarms any judgment before it can form. It shows self-awareness without apology, and it invites warmth rather than criticism. Shy learners who use phrases like this often find that people respond with unexpected kindness and encouragement, because honesty about our limitations tends to bring out the best in the people around us. There is one more digital format that shy learners find particularly difficult: voice messages. Because many messaging apps use voice notes now, and shy people often find them uniquely anxiety-producing. A voice message feels permanent, recorded, examinable in a way that live conversation is not. So the inner critic tends to be especially loud before you press record. Shadow these voice message confidence sentences with me. Listen. I am going to record this voice message now. I am going to speak naturally, and I am not going to re-record it 5 times. Here goes. Shadow it. The person receiving this message cares about what I am saying, not about how polished it sounds. Shadow it. It is okay if I pause or self-correct. That is what real speech sounds like, even for native speakers. Shadow it. I pressed send. It is done, and it communicated what I needed to communicate. That is all a voice message needs to do. Shadow it. Those 4 sentences together form a complete voice message confidence ritual. Read before pressing record. Press record. Speak. Press send. Done. No 5th take required. You have absorbed a lot of information today. Before we move into our final exercises, give yourself another quick physical reset. Take a sip of water, close your eyes for just a second, and let the tension leave your body. You are doing beautifully. Now, let's explore one of the most underrated and most powerful practice tools available to every shy English learner: speaking to yourself in English. Not in your head, out loud. In your own voice, in your own space, where nobody is listening and nobody is judging. Because one of the reasons shy people struggle so much in real conversations is that their English only ever gets practiced in observed and pressured conditions. They never speak English in a relaxed and private way. They never hear what their own natural English sounds like when the anxiety is absent. And so the relaxed version of their English never gets developed. Speaking to yourself in English every day for even 5 to 10 minutes is one of the most transformative habits a shy learner can build. It trains your English in a zero-pressure environment. It makes your voice comfortable with the sounds and rhythms of English. And it develops the habit of thinking in English rather than translating from your first language. So let's practice some self-talk English together. Shadow these sentences that you might say to yourself during a normal day. Listen. Right. What do I need to do today? I have a few things on my list. Let me go through them one by one. Shadow it. Right. What do I need to do today? A few things on my list. Let me go through them one by one. Now another. Listen. I am going to make myself a cup of tea and then sit down and focus for an hour. I always think more clearly after tea. Shadow it. I am going to make myself a cup of tea and then sit down and focus for an hour. I always think more clearly after tea. Now another. Listen. That was a really interesting thing I heard today. I want to think about it more. The part that surprised me most was shadow it. That was a really interesting thing I heard today. I want to think about it more. The part that surprised me most was, and one more. Listen. I am feeling tired today. I think I need to be gentle with myself and not push too hard. Tomorrow I will have more energy. Shadow it. I am feeling tired today. I need to be gentle with myself and not push too hard. Tomorrow I will have more energy. These self-talk sentences are quiet and intimate and completely private. And practicing them every day builds an English inner life. A genuine internal landscape where English is the natural medium of your own thinking and feeling and noticing. And that internal English landscape is the foundation of everything. Because the shy person who has a rich and practiced English inner life is never truly without words in public. They always have somewhere to reach back to. A familiar and comfortable English voice that is entirely their own. Next, we will climb what I call the confidence ladder. Let me describe the 5 rungs of the confidence ladder and shadow a sentence for each one. Rung 1. Speaking English alone. This is the foundation. Talking out loud to yourself in English. Narrating your day. Shadowing videos. Reading aloud. No audience, no judgment, pure practice. Shadow this rung 1 sentence. Listen. Every day I speak English out loud to myself. It feels safe and natural, and it is where my confidence is built first. Shadow it. Every day I speak English out loud to myself. It feels safe and natural. It is where my confidence is built first. Rung 2. Writing English to one trusted person. A friend, a language partner, someone who knows you are learning and will respond with patience. Shadow this rung 2 sentence. Listen. I have someone I write to in English regularly. They understand I am learning, and in that safe space, my English comes out more freely than anywhere else. Shadow it. I have someone I write to in English regularly. They understand I am learning, and in that safe space, my English flows more freely. Rung 3. Speaking English with one trusted person. A language exchange partner, a friend who speaks English, anyone who makes you feel safe. Shadow this rung 3 sentence. Listen. In one-on-one conversation with someone I trust, my English is closest to what it actually is. Relaxed and real and genuinely mine. Shadow it. In one-on-one conversation with someone I trust, my English is closest to what it actually is. relaxed and real and genuinely mine. Rung 4. Speaking English in small, familiar groups. Work meetings with known colleagues. Study groups. Regular social gatherings with people you recognize. Shadow this Rung 4 sentence. Listen. I am building my group conversation English by starting with groups where I already know most of the people. Familiar faces lower my anxiety and give my English more space to breathe. Shadow it. I am building my group conversation English by starting with groups where I already know most of the people. Familiar faces lower my anxiety and give my English more space to breathe. Rung 5. Speaking English in new and unfamiliar environments. New people, new settings. The full, real-world English situations that feel most exposed and most vulnerable. Shadow this Rung 5 sentence. Listen. I am working towards being able to speak English comfortably with new people in new situations. I am not there yet everywhere, but I am closer than I was, and I am proud of every rung I have climbed. Shadow it. I am working towards speaking English comfortably with new people in new situations. I am not there yet everywhere, but I am closer than I was, and I am proud of every rung I have climbed. The confidence ladder works because it is honest about the fact that confidence is not all or nothing. You can be on rung 5 with one person and rung 2 with another. You can be on rung 4 on a good day and rung 1 on a hard day. And all of that is normal and human and completely okay. The only direction that matters is upward, one rung at a time. Let's shift our focus to the language of encouragement, because shy English learners need to hear encouragement, not just from others, but from themselves. And one of the most transformative practices a shy learner can build is a habit of genuinely encouraging their own progress, not toxic positivity, not pretending struggles do not exist, but real and warm and specific acknowledgement of how far they have come. Shadow these self-encouragement sentences with me and really mean them. Listen. A year ago, I could not have done what I just did in this session. I have grown more than I sometimes let myself see. Shadow it. A year ago, I could not have done what I just did in this session. I have grown more than I sometimes let myself see. Now another. Listen. The fact that I understand this much English, that I can follow this entire session without struggling, is remarkable. I forget to acknowledge that. Shadow it. The fact that I understand this much English and can follow this entire session without struggling is remarkable. I forget to acknowledge that. And another. Listen. I spoke English today. Maybe just a little. Maybe just in this practice session. But I spoke it. And every time I speak it, I make it slightly more mine. Shadow it. I spoke English today. Maybe just in this practice session, but I spoke it. And every time I speak it, I make it slightly more mine. And one final one. Listen. I am doing something most people never do. I am learning to express myself in a second language. That takes more courage than most people will ever know. And I am doing it. Shadow it. I am doing something most people never do. I am learning to express myself in a second language. That takes more courage than most people will ever know. And I am doing it. Let that last sentence stay with you. You are doing something most people will never attempt, and you are doing it every time you show up for a session like this one. We are now going to try something that shy English learners need but rarely get: pressure practice. Not because pressure is good for shyness, but because real life creates pressure, whether we are ready for it or not. And practicing under mild, simulated pressure in a safe environment like this one is far better preparation than only ever practicing in perfect conditions. So I am going to give you a series of rapid-fire shadow sequences. These are faster than the rest of the session. The gaps between the listen and shadow instruction are shorter. This trains your brain to access English quickly, the way you will need to in a real conversation. Ready? Let's go. Listen. Could you introduce yourself, please? Shadow it. My name is, I am from, and I have been learning English for a while. It is something I really enjoy. Listen. What do you do for work or study? Shadow it. I am currently, and describe your situation. I find it challenging, but also very rewarding. Listen. What do you enjoy doing in your free time? Shadow it. I enjoy, and name something you love. I find it helps me relax and recharge. Listen. What do you think about that idea? Shadow it. That is an interesting point. I see some real advantages to it. Although I would also consider, listen, how long have you been learning English? Shadow it. I have been learning for years now. I have improved a lot, but I still have plenty to work on. Listen. Do you prefer living in a city or in the countryside? Shadow it. I think I prefer because, but I can also see the appeal of. Listen. What is your opinion on working from home? Shadow it. I have mixed feelings about it, actually. On one hand, on the other hand, listen. Tell me something interesting about your culture. Shadow it. Something that I think people find interesting is, it is quite different from what most people expect. Notice how every single one of those responses is natural, complete, and completely manageable at B1 to B2 level. None of them required perfect grammar. None of them required advanced vocabulary. They required only the willingness to speak. and you just did. Every single one of them. That is pressure practice. That is brave speaking. And you handled it. Now let's do one final round of pressure practice with slightly more complex responses. This time, the questions are deeper. Ready? Listen. What is the most important lesson you have learned in your life so far? Shadow it. That is a big question. I think the most important lesson for me has been that progress is rarely visible while it is happening. You only see how far you have come when you look back. Listen. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be? Shadow it. I would want people to be more patient with each other. So much conflict comes from not taking the time to truly understand another person's perspective. Listen. What does success mean to you personally? Shadow it. For me, success is not about achievement in the traditional sense. It is more about feeling genuinely connected to the people around me and the work I do. Listen. What is something you are proud of that most people would not know about? Shadow it. I am proud of the fact that I kept learning English even when it was hard and I felt like giving up. That persistence means more to me than any test result. Shadow it again with real feeling. I am proud of the fact that I kept learning English even when it was hard and I felt like giving up. That persistence means more to me than any test result. Notice that last answer. It is about you, about this journey, and it is completely true. You have kept going. Through the shyness and the anxiety and the self-doubt and the moments of wanting to give up. And you are still here. That is worth being proud of, more than you know. Equally important for shy learners is recovery language, because no matter how much you prepare, there will be moments in real English conversations where something does not go as planned. You mishear something, you misunderstand something, you say something that comes out wrong. You forget a word at a critical moment. These moments of conversational turbulence are inevitable for every speaker of every language. But for shy learners, they can feel catastrophic. And without recovery language ready, one small stumble can derail an entire conversation and send the shy learner back into silence. So let's practice recovery sentences until they are completely automatic. Shadow these recovery phrases with me. Listen. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. What I meant to say was, shadow it. I think I expressed that badly. Can I try again? Shadow it. Actually, ignore what I just said. I had it slightly wrong. What I actually think is, shadow it. I realize I confused myself just then. Let me start that sentence over. Shadow it. I am not explaining this very well. Give me one moment to organize my thoughts. Shadow it. Now let's practice a fuller recovery sequence. Imagine you are in the middle of explaining something and you completely lose the thread. Listen and shadow how you recover. I apologize. I had a clear thought a moment ago and it has completely escaped me. That happens to me sometimes, especially in English. Can I come back to that point in a moment? Shadow it. I apologize. I had a clear thought and it has completely escaped me. That happens to me sometimes, especially in English. Can I come back to that point in a moment? Now imagine the other person says, "Of course." You respond, "Thank you for your patience." Okay, what I was trying to say is, and you find the thread again, or you take the conversation in a slightly different direction. Shadow it. Thank you for your patience. What I was trying to say is, these recovery sequences are not signs of failure. They are signs of resilience. And the shy learner who can recover from a stumble and continue speaking has achieved something genuinely remarkable. Because they have proven to themselves that one imperfect moment does not end the conversation. The conversation continues, and so do they. Let's turn to the language of gratitude and closing in social conversations. Because shy learners often feel the most anxious at the very end of a conversation. How do you close gracefully? How do you express that you enjoyed the exchange without sounding either too eager or too cold? How do you leave a good impression? Shadow these conversation closing phrases with me. Listen. It has been really lovely talking to you. I have enjoyed this conversation more than I expected. Shadow it. Thank you for being so patient with me. I really appreciated that. Shadow it. I feel like we could have talked for much longer. I hope we get the chance again sometime. Shadow it. This has been one of the most enjoyable conversations I have had in English. Thank you for that. Shadow it. I am glad I came over and introduced myself. That took some courage, but it was completely worth it. Shadow it. Now, let's practice expressing gratitude for a learning or language exchange conversation specifically. Listen. Thank you for speaking English with me today. You were very patient, and I learned a lot from our conversation. I hope we can do it again. Shadow it. Thank you for speaking English with me today. You were very patient, and I learned a lot. I hope we can do it again. And one more. Listen. I know my English is not perfect yet, but conversations like this one make me feel like I am getting there. So thank you genuinely for your time. Shadow it. I know my English is not perfect yet, but conversations like this make me feel like I am getting there. So thank you genuinely for your time. These closing phrases are warm and human and honest. They leave a genuinely positive impression. And for shy learners who worry about how they came across in a conversation, ending with warmth and genuine gratitude is one of the best ways to leave a memory that overrides any imperfect moment that came before. Next, we will apply everything to 3 complete short conversations from beginning to middle to end. Each one covering a different context that shy learners frequently encounter. Shadow your complete side of each conversation with full voice and genuine presence. Conversation 1. Meeting a new colleague at work for the first time. They say good morning and introduce themselves. Your response. Good morning. It is lovely to meet you. I have heard your name mentioned a few times already. How are you settling in? They say they are settling in well and ask how long you have been with the company. Your response. I have been here for about 2 years now. It feels like longer, but in a good way. I really enjoy it here. The team is wonderful. Are you based in this office full-time, or do you work remotely sometimes? They answer, and the conversation continues naturally. Your closing. I will let you get on, but it was really lovely to meet you properly. I am sure we will be chatting more as the weeks go on. Shadow the full exchange now. Good morning. It is lovely to meet you. I have heard your name mentioned already. How are you settling in? I have been here about 2 years. I really enjoy it. The team is wonderful. Are you based here full-time, or do you work remotely? I will let you get on, but it was lovely to meet you properly. I am sure we will chat more. Conversation 2. Asking for directions from a stranger. Excuse me, I am really sorry to bother you. I am looking for, and name a place or street. Am I going in the right direction? They give directions. You respond. Oh, perfect. So I just, and repeat the main instruction back to confirm. And then it is on the left. Is that right? They confirm. You close. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. You have been incredibly helpful. Have a lovely day. Shadow the exchange. Excuse me, I am sorry to bother you. I am looking for, am I going in the right direction? So I just, and it is on the left. Is that right? Thank you so much. You have been incredibly helpful. Have a lovely day. Conversation 3. Ordering food at a restaurant when there is something you are unsure about. You look at the menu and ask the server. Excuse me, could I ask about this dish? I am not sure if it contains, and name an ingredient. The server explains. You respond. Oh, that is perfect. Thank you for checking. In that case, I would love that, please. And could I also ask about the, just briefly? They answer. You respond. Wonderful. That sounds delicious, actually. I will have that as well. Thank you so much. Shadow the exchange. Excuse me, could I ask about this dish? I am not sure if it contains... That is perfect. Thank you for checking. I would love that, please. Could I ask about the as well? Wonderful. That sounds delicious. I will have that too. Thank you. Notice across all 3 of those conversations that every interaction was polite, warm, natural, and completely manageable. Not one of them required advanced vocabulary or complex grammar. They required only the willingness to open your mouth and begin. And now you have practiced all 3 of them. They live in your voice. They belong to you. Now let's step into the final and most energizing part of this session. And I want you to feel the energy shift right now, because everything we have practiced today, the understanding of why shyness happens, the physical breath practice, the inner coach voice, the vocabulary approximation, the confidence ladder, the real conversation phrases, the pressure practice, the recovery language, the self-permission language. All of it has been building to this moment. The moment where you stop practicing being confident and start actually being confident. But before we go into the manifesto, I want to say one more thing that I believe is absolutely true about shy English learners specifically. Shy people are often the best communicators in the room. Not the loudest, not the most frequent contributors, but the best. Because shy people listen more carefully than anyone else. They choose their words with more deliberation. They are more aware of the effect their words have on others. They are more empathetic to the person they are talking to. And when a shy person finally speaks, when they have gathered their courage and chosen their moment and opened their mouth, what comes out is usually worth hearing. More considered, more honest, more human than the words of someone who speaks constantly and without thought. So shadow this truth about shy people with me. Listen. My shyness has made me a better listener than most people will ever be. It has made me more careful with words, more aware of other people. And when I speak, it matters, because I only speak when I have something real to say. Shadow it. My shyness has made me a better listener than most people will ever be. More careful with words, more aware of other people. And when I speak, it matters, because I only speak when I have something real to say. Let that be your foundation, not in spite of your shyness, because of it. So let's shadow the confident, shy person's voice, the voice of someone who knows they are shy, accepts it completely, and chooses to speak anyway, with full awareness and full heart. Shadow these confident sentences with me. Strongly, with real voice, not quietly, not tentatively, strongly. Listen. I am a shy person, and I am also a brave speaker. Both of these things are true at the same time. Shadow it strongly. I am a shy person, and I am also a brave speaker. Both of these things are true at the same time. Now another. Listen. My English is not perfect, and it does not need to be. It is mine, and it is real, and it communicates. Shadow it strongly. My English is not perfect, and it does not need to be. It is mine, and it is real, and it communicates. Now another. Listen. I have spent too long staying quiet when I had something to say. That changes today. Not perfectly, not all at once, but it changes. Shadow it strongly. I have spent too long staying quiet when I had something to say. That changes today. Not all at once, but it changes. Now another. Listen. Every time I speak, even imperfectly, I become slightly more fluent. Fluency is built in moments of imperfect, brave speech, not in moments of silence. Shadow it strongly. Every time I speak, even imperfectly, I become slightly more fluent. Fluency is built in moments of imperfect, brave speech, not in moments of silence. And one final one. Listen. I am not waiting until my English is perfect to start speaking. I am speaking now, imperfect and present and real. And that is more than enough. Shadow it strongly. I am not waiting until my English is perfect to start speaking. I am speaking now, imperfect and present and real. And that is more than enough. We will now do one final extended shadowing sequence to close this session. This is your manifesto, the statement of who you are as an English speaker and who you are choosing to become. Shadow it in full, with real voice, with genuine presence, because you have earned every single word of it. Listen. I am a learner who has sometimes stayed quiet when I had something to say. I have felt my throat tighten before a conversation. I have heard my inner critic tell me my English was not good enough. I have avoided situations because the anxiety felt too large. And I am still here. I showed up for this session. I shadowed every sentence. I practiced the inner coach voice. I gave myself permission. I practiced pressure exercises and recovery language and 3 complete real conversations. That is not the behavior of someone who cannot speak English. That is the behavior of someone who is becoming braver every single day. I am a shy person, and I speak English anyway. Not because the fear is gone, but because the language matters more than the fear. Because what I have to say matters more than the fear. Because the people I want to connect with matter more than the fear. My shyness has made me a careful listener and a thoughtful speaker. Those are gifts. And from today, I am building one brave English moment every single day. One moment at a time. One conversation at a time. One imperfect, beautiful, real sentence at a time. Shadow it. I am a learner who has sometimes stayed quiet when I had something to say. I have felt my throat tighten. I have heard my inner critic. I have avoided situations because the anxiety felt too large. And I am still here. I showed up. I practiced. I gave myself permission. That is not the behavior of someone who cannot speak English. That is the behavior of someone becoming braver every single day. I am a shy person, and I speak English anyway. Not because the fear is gone, but because what I have to say matters more than the fear. My shyness has made me a careful listener and a thoughtful speaker. Those are gifts. And from today, I am building one brave English moment every single day. One moment at a time. One sentence at a time. You have completed English for Shy People, and I want to say something to you directly before we finish. Something I mean with complete sincerity. The fact that you chose this video, that you sat with the discomfort of hearing your own shyness described so accurately, that you kept going through every shadow exercise, even the ones that felt vulnerable and exposed, says something remarkable about you. It says you are ready, not perfectly ready, not fearlessly ready, but genuinely and bravely ready. Ready to take your English out of the quiet corner where it has been waiting and into the real conversations it was always meant for. You know more English than you show. You have more to say than you have been saying. And the world, your world, is waiting to hear it. In today's session, you learned why shyness happens in a second language and why it is a sign of sensitivity rather than weakness. You trained your inner coach voice to replace your inner critic with honesty and fairness. You practice the physical breath technique for calming your nervous system before speaking. You identified the situations that trigger your shyness most and practiced phrases for each one. You learned the confidence ladder and how to build your English bravery one rung at a time. You practiced the language of self-permission and gave yourself real and genuine permission to speak imperfectly. You close the gap between your private and your public English by understanding why it exists. You handled pressure practice with rapid-fire questions that you answered confidently and completely. You practiced recovery language so that no stumble can stop you. And you completed 3 full conversations from first word to final goodbye. And you shadowed your manifesto, the statement of who you are becoming as an English speaker. That is an extraordinary session. And the fact that you sat through all of it tells me everything I need to know about your commitment to this language. So one final thing before you go. Tomorrow, when you wake up, before you reach for your phone, before the day takes over, shadow just one sentence from today. Any sentence, the one that stayed with you most. Say it out loud in your own voice, and let that be your one brave English moment of the day. Then, do it again the next day, and the day after that. One brave moment at a time, one sentence at a time. That is how shy people become fluent. Not in a single dramatic leap, but in 1,000 small, quiet acts of courage that nobody else sees, but that change everything from the inside out. You are a shy person, and you speak English anyway. Please subscribe to English in Moments and turn on your notifications so you never miss a new lesson. We are here every single day with content made specifically for learners like you. Thoughtful, real, patient, brave, and always completely in your corner. Keep speaking, keep shadowing, keep being exactly who you are in English. I will see you in the next lesson.